Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever. You fucking get this show.
Yeah, let's go. Go, start
All
now.
right.
Go.
You want to give us
Go.
the old intro?
Oh yeah, he threw it my way. I caught it. Whatever. I'm
I'm over it. I'm so tired of
I'm
it.
a little
But
over
the
the
people
top.
want it. Yeah.
I'm more of a draft day guy myself. List night, it's old. Draft day, it's
Oh
new.
shit, we're just talking shit about our own podcast now. I didn't realize.
Draft is a
Okay.
good movie. Draft is
We
a
are.
good movie.
That's how we're starting off. We're gonna talk shit about our own podcast. I mean, it's pretty on brand for us. We kind of hate ourselves. Regardless, this week, pretty topical. We're gonna be talking about Olympic sports. And I think, I say this every time. No criteria. We had briefly discussed if this was, Olympic sports that we wanted to participate in, or if this was Olympic sports that we like to watch. I don't think that we settled on an answer, and so you might get some different answers from us. Um, I think that I did Olympic sports that I want to watch, but I wouldn't hate to participate in some of my options. And for all
See, I think you should have veered away from participating because let's be honest, none of us stand a chance in any sport ever.
not an athlete, not well. I mean, like if I were an Olympian, which ones would I like to participate in? Like, because there's definitely like tiers of who's cool at the Olympics and who's not getting anything.
We can't even dedicate the time to consistently do this podcast, and you want to dedicate time to be an Olympian? Get out of here. Get out of here.
I gotta imagine that would take like days of effort.
Yeah.
At least. But like week at most.
We did set one criteria, which was I asked if we were doing summer or Winter Olympics or both, and we said both. So those are both eligible for these lists.
Right. So our criteria was that we did not specify which of the two. Yeah. Okay. So I guess that is in fact the criteria. Thanks, Andrew, for kind of ruining the podcast again. Can't wait for you to lose again. You're going to go first this week. So if you're going to win, this is your week to do so because maybe you're going to get all the good picks early. Who knows? Thomas will go second and I'll go last. Andrew, if you're ready to begin, by all means, give us your list. Can't imagine it's going to be that good, but...
Hey, fuck off. It's going to be great. And I'll tell you what my criteria was for my list. I just was thinking like best Olympic sports. And by best, I mean things that I want to watch, ones that are unique. And similar to that list that we did a while ago, Thomas's criteria, which was memeability. Okay, memeability. Memeability is big for Olympic sports. Absolutely.
Honestly, it's funny that you say that because I hadn't thought about that prior to making my list, but yeah, there's a lot of content to come out of the Olympics and primarily outside of like whoever won a gold medal, it is just kind of memes.
Memeability is a great criteria for all topics.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it comes down to Olympic sports, you get all excited every 4 years. Olympics are on, you get to watch all these sports, and then you realize by the end, like, this is why they don't show most of these sports on TV more than once every 4 years, because you kind of get bored of watching them, and you go back to the main four sports. So I'm gonna jump right into mine.
Four?
Real quick, because I think Thomas and I are both pretty curious. What are those main four?
Oh, I was talking about the major North American sports. I was talking about football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. That was just kind of.
I thought it was
so
soccer and luge.
What about the
it's not a great
sport from 2 feet? What about the PLL? Or all diehard fans of PLL?
Yeah, what about the PLL, Andrew? How
what
dare
about the PLL?
At lacrosse like that?
All right, so number 5 on my list. So I have I have 4 Summer Olympic sports and 1 Winter Olympic sport. Okay, and number 5 is my only Winter Olympic sport, and this is skeleton. All right, skeleton is on my list because it's fucking insane. It's crazy. Okay, like the craziest sport that anyone ever invented a while back was bobsled. It was basically like, let's basically just get in this sled that's out of control and we're probably going to die, but if we don't, we'll go really fast. And that will be cool. And we'll cram 4 of us into there. They were like, that's not good enough. So let's invent luge, which was basically, let's take out 3 of those guys and make this sled smaller. Much more like a higher chance of dying even, and just even more insane. And then they were like, you know what? Fuck it. It's not enough. That guy needs to be on a flat sled going head first and face down. Absolutely insane. I don't know how you get into skeleton, like who becomes a professional skeletoner.
I imagine the people that just did not succeed at bobsled and
No.
But okay,
It's the people who love penguins the most.
yeah. the
so
so
not your guy from one of the early pods, Mr.
No.
Genocide.
No.
Oh yeah.
Not him.
Oh wow.
Not him.
Anslinger, Joseph Anslinger, was that him?
Yeah.
Wow.
I should get points for remembering his name.
That is a fantastic memory. Wow.
It was Joseph Hatch, not Anslinger. These guys are actual idiots and clearly not real fans of List Night.
So
Thanks for
a
the
few fun facts though before we get into it more on skeleton. They experience accelerations of up to 5 Gs and speeds over 81 miles per hour. Just insane.
I hear 5G is not good for your brain because the waves.
Yeah, this was the original kind of 5G.
You know the speed you need to be going for your neck to break in a head-on collision? It's under 81 miles per hour. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, way under. Skeleton.
under.
This was surprising me. Skeleton was in the Olympics in 1928, and then not again until 1948, and then it disappeared until 2002 when they brought it back permanently. So I don't know what was going on there. Probably too many people died. So
You say permanently, but
Here's the thing: most of the guys that probably did skeleton were like part of the war effort, and like because those were like the baddest guys around, and they didn't come back.
so here's okay. You think luge is more dangerous than bobsledding? Because I think I agree, but you got to think in bobsledding you can also crash into your own partners. Like if you crash, you're then hitting them. And you know those car commercials about wearing seatbelts?
You're like pretty tied in though, aren't you?
You see that is the thing. You are
pretty like
you're
nuts
in. You're in. But
yeah,
that,
so
you hit.
so it's something to think about.
I almost died.
I don't know. I think my inclination is that luge is more dangerous because
Mine would be
bobsled.
too.
I mean, obviously you have helmets in all the sports, but your helmets are almost like at the height of the bobsled or like below. So
Yeah.
you're kind of guarded on all sides a little bit.
I do think you're right. I just you got to think about hitting each other.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Definitely a lot of potential for concussions. I feel like your potential for like a broken spine though in luge and skeleton probably a little bit higher.
I mean, I do agree. Especially looking at my list, skeleton is the craziest sport to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that
also on your list?
It's not on my list,
Oh, okay.
but looking at my list, none of mine are nearly as crazy as skeleton.
Yeah. The only reason it's not higher on my list, I mean, it's on my list because it's insane to watch. But the reason it's not higher is because I don't really get what makes a good skeletoner. Like what, I mean, I can't really tell one
Heavy
from
brain.
another, they just kind of they run and lay on the sled and that's kind of it.
Thomas is holding his hands like he's got the spirit bomb, and I don't know what he wants us to ask him.
Giant balls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big old
Yeah.
testicular fortitude.
And I don't mean like physically because there's women skeletoners, skeleton riders. What are they
I
called?
don't know. I should have learned the
think
term for them
it's called
before.
skeletons.
I'm gonna go with skeletoners. Are they? Is it called skeleton because you're going so fast your skin might fall off, so at the end you're just bones?
No, I looked it up. It's called skeleton because
You are afterwards.
the sled that they ride on is very thin and it's like a skeleton basically. Kind of stupid, but I like our reasoning
I
more.
kind of get that. Like it's a
I
good
don't.
referencing the frame of what you're on.
Right.
You're
That's
basically
dumb.
going down.
No.
Nothing.
Should be called.
Yeah.
Should be called penguin.
You're right. We'll talk. We'll reach out to the IOC and we'll tell them that skeleton is a dumb name and that you said so. And I mean, like you're a 2-time list night champ, maybe. So they might change it.
Shots fired.
1.5.
Oh, not even 2 times. God, how do you sleep at night?
Number 4.
Not well, but that was before listening.
Yeah. Number 4 on my list. Before Griffin gets too big of a head for winning all the time because he cheats. We mentioned this before we started recording. This is a new sport for the 2020 Olympics, which are in 2021, which is weird that they never changed the name of the Olympics, but that's fine.
Unbelievably dumb.
Yeah, sport climbing. So it's basically I was looking into it. It's basically rock climbing, obviously, but there's 3 different disciplines of sport climbing. and they're just going to have one medal table. So there's just one event. It's going to go to like the all around best climber. And the 3 types are lead climbing, which is like the highest up to the wall, with a rope attached to them. Bouldering, where they have no rope, but it's a shorter wall. So if you fall, you just kind of fall on these mats. And then speed climbing, which is just a race between 2 or more people on the same wall or type
Same
of wall.
path.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how they're gonna combine all the scores to put it into one, but I'm really looking forward to watching it. I think it could be fun to watch for about 20 minutes.
Put your hand down, little Steve. Have you ever seen it before?
No.
It is.
That was my question as well.
I see. I almost made my list, but I didn't because it hasn't been in the Olympics yet. So I've never watched it in the Olympics, but I've seen it before, and it is cool. It is fun to watch. It is like I didn't realize there was 3 different ones. I guess I didn't look into it all, but like the speed climbing is what I've seen the most of, and it's fucking. You watch it and you're like, holy! It's gonna be one of those Olympic events where like no normal person could get. I mean, all Olympic events, no normal person could get close to these people.
Yeah, I actually did watch a quick YouTube video earlier on it. And when they were talking about the 3 different disciplines, and when they got to speed climbing, I thought that I put my YouTube at 2 times speed, because I do that sometimes when watching videos, and I was like, this must be at 2 times speed, and it wasn't. It was just like their actual speed. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's insane.
So here's my problem with it. You haven't watched it, and it.
No, it shouldn't be on his list.
You have not yet gotten to the Olympics that it's going to be incorporated into. So can it be your like? Let's say, not saying it's going to happen. Let's say hypothetically there's a global pandemic, okay, and they have to reschedule or cancel the Olympics, and then potentially, those Olympics, they just don't end up happening. This ends up not occurring at said Olympics. Are you a liar? I mean, could it be your favorite Olympic event if it never took place at the Olympics? I don't know. I think these are just questions I'm asking on behalf of the audience.
This is why I didn't make my list, because I'm not a cheater who tries to find like loopholes. It should not be on his list, and he should be not necessarily DQ'd, but only allowed 4 picks.
No, okay. So, this is gonna.
I think by definition of picking this, he is only allowed 4 picks.
No, this is gonna go back to the idea that we didn't set rules, and like what I said that my criteria was best. It was not my favorite that I've watched.
Has it ever been in the Olympics?
No, but it's an Olympic sport.
So is it?
Yes.
I mean, is it though?
It's a future Olympic sport.
No,
is it a current Olympic sport?
It is currently governed by the Olympic governing body. Okay. I'm just saying words that I've heard on TV before, but
I believed you because you said governing body, and that feels official.
Yeah, the second you say governing body, you win the argument.
Win this argument.
Yeah. Okay. I rescind my complaint, and
I'm still angry.
Watch it in the 2020 Olympics in 2021.
I will say I am looking forward to watching it.
Good.
I'm sure it'll be my father's new favorite sport.
I hope you lose.
Climber back in the day.
Your father's favorite? Oh, he was a big climber, you said?
Dad, prior to doing it, like for his job, he was a big rock climber.
That's why he always wasn't home?
Okay. I was wondering how we would transition his mention of his dad.
The mountain just took him.
Like I was legit surprised.
He is very.
I was surprised there was a mention of his dad, and it wasn't about him not being there. So I'm glad we brought that back around.
I tried very hard to not make that joke. It's been like 11 episodes of me not making that joke, but Andrew had to bring up that trauma. So,
yep. Number 3 on my list. Number 3 on my list is synchronized diving. I love watching synchronized diving, but before I get into that, I have some facts about diving at the Olympics. Okay. Regular diving has been at the Olympics since 1904. And the 2 events they had back then were the 10-meter platform, that's normal, and they had an event called plunge for distance. Okay? The whole sport was you do a ground level standing dive, and then you remain motionless in the water, and whoever gets the deepest wins. So, I mean, that made me laugh for 2 reasons. Just because, number one, how is that a sport? And number 2, there weren't like cameras back then, especially underwater cameras. So
It was
like,
non-existent.
what kind of a spectator sport is that?
I would argue that it probably wasn't. Also, I feel like there's probably some crossover potential between skeleton and whatever. What is it? Stand and dive or something like that.
Plunge for distance.
Plunge for distance. Wow.
I feel like it should be plunge for depth.
Yeah.
Hold on. How do you get deeper other than jumping higher?
I don't know. Exactly. I mean, I guess having like a tighter streamline, I would assume, and just going straight down. I don't know, but it just made me laugh when
also like
diving.
how deep was what they were working with? Like, if there was a limit, does everyone win the world record?
I don't know. Maybe they just did it in the ocean.
So this is one of the scenarios where Andrew brings up a topic that he knows nothing about.
But this is okay. Remember, I was just giving fun facts. This is not my pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun fact is the only reason it was in the Olympics one time is because like a ton of people probably died.
Yeah. Well,
because they're like, we needed a sport, and people are like, I can jump in the water.
Hey, that was your number one pick on a list that we did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because it's fun. It's not an Olympic sport.
And in fact, all jump in the water. I could see us being, passable at that Olympic sport.
Okay, another quick fun fact about diving and synchronized diving before.
Yeah, get to your pick.
Okay, so
fun facts about
the diving that we know as a diving Olympic sport was actually called fancy high diving, because there was also events called plain high diving where they were literally just allowed to do a simple straight dive off a platform into the water. So anyways, those are my fun facts about diving. Synchronized diving is my pick, my number 3 pick. It's just one of those things that, like, I'm always amazed at how in sync they are, especially off the 10-meter platform. And just the difficulty of those dives, the lack of splash, all very impressive. The fact that they throw the chamois and usually like land it on the lower diving board from the platform before they jump off. It's all good.
That is the coolest part, without a doubt, is the fact that they make that throw every single time.
Yeah. So I like all of it.
Feel really out of the loop because I didn't know NSYNC was still together and doing things.
Yeah, and they do synchronized diving versus the Backstreet Boys, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They are way more in sync.
I do invite 98 Degrees, and Nick Lachey was like, "Nah, dude, I'm old and fat."
Griffin, the jokes did. Yeah, I mean, I get why it's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't enjoy it. Like, I could never do it, and it's super impressive, pretty much like all the Olympic sports. But
it's really impressive. But like, I mean, like, I get where you're coming from. Just like it's interesting on like an objective level, but like I like, do people get like amped watching synchronized diving?
You know why he's putting it in here?
Do synchronized divers get amped watching synchronized diving?
Yes. The only reason it's on his list is for Alex Goldschmidt's. I believe that.
That's the second time he's been mentioned.
That's big.
I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt my case, but no, I think synchronized diving is awesome, and it's also a very great sport for memeability. Have you seen their faces when they're doing like tuck dives and stuff? Are you kidding me?
No, it must not be really popular memes.
There's some memeability potential there, and I did forget that was one of your criteria, so I get where you're coming from with that one. Yeah. I mean, definitely interesting to watch. Like,
as you can see, I went with more obscure sports. I didn't just go with like basketball, soccer, golf. I didn't do that stuff. I had to.
I wouldn't say obscure sports.
Well, they're
in the Olympics.
Yeah,
that's
golf true. There has been since 2016. So yes. Yeah. Number 2 on my list is trampolining. So this is a gymnastics event that has been in the Olympics since the year 2000. Thomas, I feel like I can speak for both of us when I say we basically grew up on a trampoline. So to see a trampoline of we were raised by a trampoline. Our parents weren't around, and the trampoline took care of us. So to see a trampoline event in the Olympics, I always think is really cool. I always think the athletes that do trampoline are super athletic. You basically just do a routine where you have 10 contacts with the trampoline, and between those contacts, all kinds of flips and turns and everything. And it's cool to watch. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, we were both loved and disciplined harshly by the trampoline growing up. So like I get your nostalgia for it, but like, I don't like again. It's like synchronized diving. Like it's super cool. I'm impressed by it. I don't really feel like watching it. Also, like no shit, the athletes that do it are athletic. They're athletes. But if I'm gonna watch a trampoline
What are you gonna have
sport,
like curling on your list? They're not
it's gonna
athletic.
be slam ball.
Well,
It's gonna
yeah.
be slam ball. If you're gonna give me a trampoline sport, give me slam ball.
Oh, absolutely. But is slam ball in the Olympics? Is it an
Not
Olympic
yet,
sport?
but
It's not.
sign my petition.
I
But I mean,
absolutely will.
kind of, maybe they are communicating with the IOC right now. Maybe it will be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Can we really rule it? We know for a fact that slam ball is not talking to the IOC. We don't. We don't.
Yeah, we need
So
to
I
get
guess
the,
so legally it can be on my list.
we need to get the governing body on that.
Maybe legally it can be on your list. Legally, of course, it can be on your list. There's no crimes involved in this podcast.
Are there legal penalties for having a bad
There's
list?
crimes against. You know what? There are crimes because Andrew has a crime against lists right now because it's so bad.
This list is
I
great.
don't really want to hear this from Mr.
Average
Warner.
at best.
The feedback I'm getting from you guys is that you're gonna pick more things that you actually like to watch on TV. These
Wow,
are things.
that makes so much sense.
These are sports.
What a crazy criteria to have.
But that's boring. But that's boring. I could do swimming and gymnastics and track and all that. I could do that all day. But I just decided to go outside the box.
If we're being honest, clearly you can't do it all day.
Yeah.
You can do fucking different diving fun facts, and you can do things that have not yet been in the Olympic Games. But can you do swimming? Can you do gymnastics?
No, but I'm gonna petition to get plunge for distance back because that is a sport.
But
I want to talk to.
You should call it plunge for
like what? Yeah, plunge for depth.
For
Or
distance.
just plunge. Just
Why?
plunge.
Why would you call it that? Yeah, plunge also does sound pretty cool.
And I'd be like, "What do you do? I'm a plunger."
And it's immediately less cool.
But I just want to know how you get more depth other than just being able to jump higher.
I really hope that I didn't read it wrong and it's not like it's not actual distance like across the pool. But then why would they use? But then why would they? But then why would they use the word plunge? I think it's
that's
down.
just long jumping.
Yeah, I don't know.
Into water.
I bet it's down.
You read an
I just
article
don't know how
where
you go
making
longer.
up Olympic sports.
No, this is real. Look it up.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was my number 2 trampolining. Number 1 on my list is race walking. Okay.
Oh, good fucking pick. Your list is good now.
Thank
Good
you.
fucking pick.
Thank you.
I beg to differ.
That's exactly the reaction I was hoping for. Yeah, so race walking is competed in 2 different distances, 20 kilometers and 50 kilometers, which is crazy that people race walk for over 31 miles. And the world record for the 50 kilometer is like just over 3.5 hours, walking 31 miles, which is just mind blowing to me. There's only 2. There's what?
That's just running.
No,
because there's only 2 rules to race walking. Your back toe cannot leave the ground until the heel of your front foot has touched the ground. And then also the supporting leg, like the leg that you're not moving, that your supporting leg must straighten from the point of contact with the ground and remain straightened until the body passes directly over it.
It is very difficult to do. And how they do it for longer than like 10 yards, which is as far as I can go.
Exactly.
Like, it's incredible.
It seems like shin splint central. Like it's just seems awful. But yeah, they have this like technique where they basically like wiggle their hips back and forth to
I'll show you sometime.
Keep the stride going. It's wild. It looks like the stupidest thing in the world. It's probably the most memeable Olympic sport. And it's also very impressive.
Okay, so I kind of take it back by saying your list is good now because the only time I enjoyed watching race walking on TV is when it was in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, like I also I don't enjoy watching marathons or triathlons because it's just like cool.
Way to commit an entire day to this.
Yeah. So I mean,
you know how many power hours we could do during one race walk?
And we should. That'd be so much fun.
We could do 4 power hours.
No, we could do one of our power hours.
Well, we could do it during the 20 kilometer.
Did you say the world record was 3.5 hours?
For the 50 kilometer.
One of our power hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Our we like to call them power 3.5 race walk hours. You're right. That's right. We've always called them. Here's the thing. Here's my thing with the race walking, and honestly, a lot of sports that I have discovered in the past few days are part of the Olympics. Who grows up doing these sports, and like, where did so many things go wrong in their life where they did this as opposed to like cross country or
See,
any sort of like I just, where do you even go to do these sports? I've never seen a human being competing in these sports outside of the
It's
Olympics.
because you're not cultured.
oh,
I
that's a good point. You're
argue
not
that I'm
cultured.
no, that's not true. I would not argue that I'm exceptionally cultured. I'm cultured enough.
Oh, I'm wearing a Coachella
Like,
shirt. I'm
there's like one
cultured.
small group in each country of people that do this, and they just go to like 7 Olympics in a row before they like get their kids
Yeah.
to do it. Who are these events for?
I don't know. Do some research. Look it up.
No,
Here's
this
my
is-
thing: the obscurity,
I'll do the
the
research because
the
I'm on the internet right now, and I don't want to do my own research.
the obscurity of the sport doesn't make it any less impressive. So that's why most of my picks on my list made my list. Do I
Yeah,
really
no,
want to sit down and watch 3 hours of
Yeah.
race walking? No, of course not.
No, okay.
That is not the best.
No. Yeah. No one said they weren't impressive, but now you're literally just said you don't want to
we
watch
didn't
your number
we
one.
didn't set a criteria. I never said
What-
these are
what
the
are your
5 ones I
criteria?
like
What-
watching the most. I never said
What,
that.
what are your criteria
Andrew,
for
what
best?
really sad, depressed tweet are you going to have next week when you get third place again? Plot it out on air right now.
I don't care. But you know what?
I'll write it down.
I'm past the point of trying to please anyone. These are my lists. If our audience wants to kick me off the pod, they can do that, and I'll start my own
Is that
pod
an
that nobody
option?
will listen to. I think we need to.
Does the audience get to vote you off the island?
Honestly, I think we need to spice
I
it
didn't
up.
know.
I think we need to spice it up.
If they could, none of us would still be here.
That's true.
Alex Goldschmidt would be here though. He'd be the new guy on the pod. We'd talk about diving.
He could probably plunge.
Right. Andrew, give us your whole recap.
I hate both of you. Number 5. Number 5 is skeleton. Number 4 is sport climbing, new for 2021. Number 3 is synchronized diving. Number 2 is trampolining, and number 1 is race walking.
Cool. No doubt. You're gonna get like 6 votes. And this is gonna be the week where we get thousands of votes, but it's fine.
Yeah,
And
6
one
might
of
get me the
those-
win.
Here's the thing: if we did power hour during race walking, if we, were like, yeah, let's just, drink for 3.5 hours straight, I would watch the entire race walking event. That's the only way that I would do it. The only.
I mean, I will tell you, you should try like race walking. It's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems
You
awful.
can't try like normal sports. Like, I'm not athletic. I feel like trying obscure sports is just a really weird way to end up in the hospital for the wrong reasons.
You should try to plunge.
I will definitely try to play. I want to be like you.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what both of you have on your list because
Well, good, because that's the whole point of this podcast.
no, but I'm saying like I actually anticipated, especially Thomas, you to like have all obscure sports on your list because you like to think outside the box and basically be stupid. So I figured,
Actually,
He's not
this
wrong.
week,
He's not wrong.
this-
That's a true thing about you.
and I don't know why I
this
figured
week-
I'd use that strategy considering you win so rarely. But
this week it wouldn't be
Well-
think outside the box; it'd be think outside the rings. So get it together.
You took his strategy like mentally, and then prior to starting the pod, you said that you took my physical strategy of just wearing a sleeveless shirt.
yeah, I'm trying to be anyone but myself. I'm so dejected after last week's loss.
No, yeah. I mean, we
You're
get it.
starting to sound like me now.
Yeah. This has been just bad for your mental health. Let me tell you, it's not the sleeveless shirts that help me win the podcast. It's the sweaty sleeveless shirts that really sell it. You got to glisten. On the
Okay,
podcast.
so I'm gonna start.
Yeah, stop him, please.
Guy over here looking like a thumb.
No, so Andrew, I agree with what you said. I am the most creative and I don't know, smartest.
That's not what I
But
said.
I did. I chose.
Every week, and then it doesn't.
I chose the sports I actually enjoy watching, which I'm not as into the Olympics as you guys are normally. I mean, I watch when they're on, like who doesn't? But I didn't realize how many of the sports I actually enjoy watching until I made a list, and I was like, oh shit, what's up?
I have a question. Are Andrew and I renowned for being big Olympics guys?
No, but I feel like
Olympics.
you guys are definitely talk about them more than I do.
Like once every 4 years.
This week,
Yeah,
yeah, every 2 to 4
no,
years.
you guys are like, oh, Michael Phelps swimming. And I'm
We
like,
did that on this podcast. Whatever. All right.
and no,
I
but
damn,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
we're
Here's
the
the thing.
guys
Here's the
that
thing.
people
Here's the
think
thing.
are
Here's the
really
thing.
into the
Here's the
Olympics.
thing. Here's the thing. Michael Phelps got caught with weed, so in my eyes, I mean, he's a degenerate.
Oh
So.
wow. Okay, what a take. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
I
number
think
five.
that we all share.
Number five was going to be sport climbing, but since it hasn't been in the Olympics yet, it can't be. So
Could've
my
been.
number five is bobsledding.
Right.
Not skeleton because I don't believe in solo sports. Wait, I do believe in solo sports, but
I'm glad you caught it before we did. I would have
no,
jumped on that.
bobsledding. It's not necessarily the same reason as skeleton. Like it's crazy, but bobsledding is like I don't know. It's intense. Like it's so quick and so dangerous, and it's just a it's one of the Olympic sports where like I don't know how you get better at it. Like I don't understand the techniques. I don't understand what you need to do.
Watch Cool Runnings.
I
They
don't
have
understand the techniques. I
training
don't understand the techniques or how you get better, but it's such like an intense, just like run that it's just, I don't know. It's cool. It's fun. I like ice.
Here's
it's fun. Like ice. All right.
here's where I'm going to push back on you. Okay, I got criticized for having 5 sports that were not great for TV watching, and I would argue bobsled.
No. You got criticized for 5 sports you don't watch.
You got criticized for a lot of things if we're keeping it.
Okay, whatever. Point is, I'm just going to criticize you and say that that bobsled, it falls in the same category as skeleton. It's like what like it's cool to watch the sled go by fast, but it's almost like watching NASCAR. It's like, do you watch NASCAR? No, it's just going fast.
You're criticizing me while also criticizing yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
The idea of bobsledding seems cooler than bobsledding in practice. Like I think bobsledding, I think Cool Runnings. So I think that there's a 2-hour comedy associated with every Olympics and every run from every unexpected team. So I can see where the love for bobsledding comes from. Actually watching it, the beginning's kind of interesting to see like if they like do it perfectly. He walked away, so I don't know if I should keep talking. Oh, he's got AirPods. He's
locking my door.
And you know, yeah, I mean they're somewhat interesting, but yeah, not the biggest bobsledding guy on earth.
So
probably better than skeleton. So there's that.
It's like I think it's cool. I don't sit down and watch any Olympic sports for hours. But like if I'm gonna flip something on, it's gonna be like and bobsledding's on. I'm gonna put bobsledding on. Like it's fun.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I get it. Yeah. No, I mean it's a pretty popular winter sport, I think, for only every 4 years. It's not one that people follow at any other point.
I feel like some people do.
Bobsledders.
So number 4,
Plungers.
surprised. I'm shocked this isn't on Andrew's, and it almost didn't make mine because like I felt, I don't know, boring. But swimming, put swimming at 4. Swimming is another one where like I can't watch it all day, but like throwing it on for like especially certain events, it is exhilarating, and it also is, you know, I always had dreams of being an Olympic swimmer, and then, you know, different things happened. I didn't grow, I didn't train, I wasn't particularly good, so didn't follow that dream. But you know, it's still cool for the ones that did.
Yeah. I mean, if I set myself a different criteria for this list, which was sports I enjoy watching the most, swimming would probably be number 1, or probably number 2, with gymnastics number 1. 1 and 2, those two. But I set myself a different criteria, so I'm not mad about this pick. I can watch a good amount of swimming, like because it's on for like the first week of the Olympics. Like every night it gets like the primetime slots, and I'll watch all the races. Like I don't get bored of it.
Yeah, I mean, probably just because America's been so good at it for so long, and we've had some of like really dominant athletes in it, and a huge portion of our country swims. It's one of those events that people really care about every 4 years, and not at all the rest of the time.
Yeah, I was just thinking like best ones as in our favorites, but I'd be down for either. So I feel like Andrew, your 5 or your 5. Are your 5 Olympic sports that you picked your favorite Olympic sports?
For me, mobility, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he's sinking into
You
the
were
couch.
you were
Just
dying
crushing
on this
some
hill.
emotion.
Um,
Don't
this is
sit up.
this is
Don't
the
sit up.
hill. This is
no,
the hill.
I don't regret this list. I think it's a winning list. Assuming that our audience are idiots, which they are because I keep losing. So I had to dumb it down for those idiots.
Anyway,
This
back
is
to
not
my
the first
list.
time you've called our audience idiots. I think I
No.
know why you're not winning.
It's like a lot, actually. You've called him idiots often.
He hates the people. Does not like the people.
Number 3 is swimming on land, and that is athletics. Track and field.
Oh, you're gonna pick athletics?
I was confused by the swimming on land. I would have thought that would have been like running. But
You didn't narrow it down to like an athletic discipline.
I like
athletics
the sprints.
is like a category.
I know. It's a category. I meant like you're not gonna narrow it down to like shot put or like track or like whatever. Go ahead.
Actually, I'll show you my notes. It says track. You didn't let me finish. I like the short distances
You're right,
because I have a short attention span, and I like things that go fast. So
I just don't have that much to add because like I can see you really liking athletics and people being like, what's your favorite Olympic sport? You'll be like, well, my third favorite is athletics. And they walk away from the conversation because that's the most bizarre answer somebody can give them. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good options underneath the umbrella of athletics, but I hate that. I mean, like, even though I defended that it's its own category, I hate that it's its own category because that's like being like, yeah, I like water sports. And nobody clip that and turn it into anything inappropriate. But I'll tell you after the pod what water sports is, Thomas.
I don't think I want to know.
Quick little info text. It's just like it's such a broad category that involves so many different sports. That's saying it's your favorite Olympic sport is you're saying that like 13 different things are your favorite Olympic or your third.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it.
Like
I didn't say it's my favorite Olympic sport. I said
bad.
I enjoy watching it. I know that's not my criteria.
I mean it's fine. I mean, I guess technically you're within the rules and you're pushing the envelope,
it's so hard to do without the rules.
Number 4 is in the Olympics.
Which I would do. What?
Oh,
it is.
2020 has passed, so there's an argument to be made.
No, it hasn't happened.
No, I was going to finish and say that, but it is. I'll give it to you. It is like that's literally what the sport is called.
I'm not asking you to give it to me, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, do you have I mean, is it like 100 meters, 110 meter hurdles?
I don't pay attention. Whatever's on.
You don't pay attention.
What's your favorite throwing event, and what's your favorite jumping event?
Javelin.
It's javelin,
and then it's gotta be high jump.
Yeah,
that's just cool.
Pole
vaulting's pretty sweet, but it kind of freaks me out because I'm waiting for someone to die.
Yeah, it seems like one is just gonna snap in half and like impale someone.
Yeah,
the motion of pole vaulting just makes me kind of queasy, and I can't really watch it.
I like the weird ones. I like triple jump.
That's always gonna happen.
Triple jump is a weird one.
I like triple jump, and I like the steeplechase where they jump into water, basically.
Yeah, that never really made sense to me as like
it seems like it's an event. It seems and it sounds like it's an event for horses. Steeplechase.
Yeah, and it also like I know it's running and it's a race, but like it doesn't quite fit in like the track category in my mind because like you run into pools of water.
It's like it's almost like it's like a obstacle course. Yeah.
Weird. Okay, number 2. It's wrestling. I enjoy Olympic wrestling.
Just
as someone who
style or Greco-Roman. Or
sorry, you broke up. Freestyle.
I
mean, I enjoy them all, but probably freestyle. I don't typically watch wrestling not in the Olympics. Like I don't follow college normally. Like every once in a while I will, but it's a very, for me, fun sport to watch. And like it's, as I said earlier, and I made it clear, like it's a very solo sport. So like it's just you, and it's I don't know, it's fun to watch individuals like dominate other people.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I definitely watched wrestling.
took a turn.
for that.
But no,
Did you write this in
wrestling's
your
fun to
notes
watch.
and, like edit them ahead of time and still say that out loud?
No, I didn't write any notes this time. Just names.
Wish
So
you had. Wish you had.
I do wish I had.
Yeah. So yeah, I do like this one. I like wrestling in the Olympics. I'm not a big Greco-Roman guy. I do like freestyle wrestling. I don't like it in the Olympics as much as I do watch college wrestling, and I like American folk style wrestling significantly more than I like freestyle wrestling. Which is why I don't get as juiced for the Olympics or any other world games that have wrestling. I just don't find the style as interesting to watch. But I do really like supporting the wrestlers that, I mean, primarily like American wrestlers, the guys that would not really have opportunities to, and women, to have anything on the world stage unless they were to like go into MMA or become literal professional wrestlers and do like WWE and TNA stuff and all that. I don't actually, is TNA still a company? I don't even know. Yeah, wrestling. I feel like it's the only time that people actually actively care about wrestling outside of people that like have family members or friends that are collegiate wrestlers. And
That's
fun.
like 100% what it is like, yeah, I could probably get into wrestling more, but like I don't need anything else in my life for me to be interested in and pay attention to. So having it once every 4 years is enough for me.
We've already got a podcast taking up a lot of
I give a lot of energy to this thing. You
Yeah.
can tell with my perkiness.
I think a lot of that can be said of almost every Olympic sport, that like people like to watch it when it's on in the Olympics, and then the other than that, the people that are fans of it are like people that used to play that sport or do that sport or have someone in their close family or friends that are into it. But I like watching wrestling in the Olympics. Not mad about that pick.
Yeah.
Good, because I'm totally here to please you guys.
They should have professional wrestling in the Olympics, by the way.
We all really support amateur wrestling, I guess.
Yeah, but they should have professional wrestling in the Olympics.
Yeah. The Olympics tried to get rid of amateur wrestling.
They did try to get
rid
of it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Olympic sport, and they tried to get rid of it.
They tried very hard.
Yep.
Anyway, number one is a sport that is probably a lot more difficult than it actually looks like it is. And while both, I think a lot of people could do it, I think a lot of people say they could do it, couldn't do it. And it is, yes, Griffin, curling. This is one sport where I think if we tried, like for like
I feel like you're about to
decent amount of time, we could become pretty average at it and still not make the Olympics, because ice is hard to walk on.
Yes.
But curling is like, it should be very boring, and for some reason it's not.
I really want to try curling. I really want to find a rink around me and just try it. I will say, if this was if I decided that my criteria for this list was sports that I still think I have a chance in, obviously
it'd be the only one on the list.
I have a 0% chance of any of them. But curling, I feel like there's always like that 50-year-old curler who like, didn't start till he was 25 or whatever. And which is basically how old I am, give or take.
The list would be curling, plunging, and skeleton, because you just have to be crazy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
To do skeleton, you just have to be one of the few people on Earth. Like, yeah, this seems like a good idea.
Well, yeah,
especially we need a skeleton Olympian. I'll do it.
Right, especially like if they invite like a lot of countries that would never compete in that to, if they have someone who wants to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's requirements. You got to meet a certain time or whatever. But like, if you're like the one person from like Qatar that does skeleton,
you cannot have a certain number of concussions prior to trying out for the team. No one's trying to watch a death on the ice.
All
right,
anyway,
curling is one that everyone is like, yeah, we could do this. And honestly, I'm surprised it didn't show up on Andrew's list. And despite not being a big fan of curling myself, it is one of the Olympic events that at some point during every Olympic run I am going to turn on and
Yeah.
I'm just like it's like one of those sports that you watch with like a podcast on in the background or whatever. Like you don't really need the commentary because they're not telling me that much about what's happening because I can see it with my goddamn eyes. But it's just like low key. It's relaxed. Something about it is like I'm never gonna be as good as these people at something. They're Olympians.
It's like
They're Olympians.
it's both like weirdly relaxing and exciting. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
sports. It's like when bowling's on ESPN and it's in the background.
I was gonna say
Like
it's like
you I can't help but end up getting into it. Like almost
yeah.
ironically getting into it.
That's how I
It's
feel
fun.
about
That's
darts. When
that's
it's
a
on
good way.
TV. If darts
Yeah.
are on TV, I get juiced.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Like I think most of my lists are kind of like ironically get into it kind of picks, and curling is probably
don't try
the,
to don't,
no, but I'm
don't
saying
try
like
to take my thing.
curling's probably the most famous of, not famous is probably not the right word, but the one sport that probably the most amount of people do that, where they ironically
Yeah.
get super into it once every 4 years.
Yeah. Again, it's just like it's a weirdly calming like action and sport, but like it's a competition, so you still get into
Do you-
it.
do you put
Like,
on,
it's
like,
still
do
exciting.
you
People
put-
have the potential to be an Olympian.
Yeah. Do you put on like sounds of curling to go to sleep? Just
No,
the
because,
clanking of the stones and stuff.
I think I'd have nightmares of my failed potential.
Mm.
There was never any. You have to have potential to have failed potential.
I had potential.
All right.
Anyway,
Recap.
my list did change a lot when I made it, but here it is. 5 bobsledding, 4 swimming, 3 athletics, specifically track, 2 wrestling, and 1 curling.
You'll probably
A
win.
little more traditional than Andrew's. Still not like the most exciting list of things, but I get where you were going for some of those. Wish athletics wasn't one of your picks because so many sports, but it's fine.
Yeah,
feel like
but
I
I
would-
don't know how he would have changed it, to be fair to him. Like you could say track and field, which I guess narrows it down a little bit, but
Well,
yeah.
It is worth noting, and I didn't have to do this, and I could potentially lose because of this. Everyone that I picked specific events within the sport rather than the sport as a whole. And I'll
So we all did different things on our list.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Actually,
as
now
we
that
always do.
now that I think about it, race walking is part of athletics.
Oh, there you go.
Fair.
All right.
All right,
Well,
give us your shit list.
I would. Yeah. Is it though, or is it gonna be another win for the old Griff Cat? We'll find out.
Well, the wins don't even matter here, right? It's like
Yeah.
whose line?
It's like that show that Andrew likes. Yeah, that's the one.
The one I just said the name.
You did. Number 5 on my list, and while you guys were saying your number 5s, I was trying not to crack up because Andrew said skeleton for all the reasons that he gave, and Thomas said bobsledding.
Is it fucking luge?
It's
It's
gonna be
fucking-
luge.
Yeah, he said bobsledding for all the reasons he gave, and literally in my notes I put luge. Not as insanely stupid as skeleton, but a lot cooler than bobsledding.
Wait, you don't like being with the team?
I don't. First off, I don't. I would say that I'm not renowned for my team mentality. Second, skeleton seems like the one that I think a lot of people would predict to be on my list because I'm fucking dumb as shit. Like I'm a dumb idiot, and it is what it is. But it's not my death wish doesn't go that far. And I don't really want to see anyone die on TV, and I feel like every time I watch skeleton, someone is going to die on TV. But bobsledding, and I was trying to defend bobsledding earlier when you picked it, while at the same time like not give it too much credit because it's not that cool. It's still not that cool. Luge, however, perfect combo of the two.
What's that?
Perfect center spot, perfect sweet spot. Like it's just great.
What's that really cool movie? The luge movie they made that everyone loves.
No, I think you're thinking of the bobsled movie, Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what it is. That's what
Yeah, there was never a
is.
luge movie.
That's what
It went
is.
straight. It went straight to VHS.
and
Here's
no
the
one bought
I
it.
feel like if the Rocket Power kids were to do any of the 3 sports, it would be luge.
There is an episode where they do it on skateboards.
They do street luge.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also there's no street.
Well, they also probably
There's no
never lived
street
past 18,
skeleton.
so
That's almost definitely true. They died young. But there is street luge. Not in the Olympics because I'm pretty sure it's like an X Games sport, but 5 luge. Great pick. Off to the races.
I had something to say to discourage this, like, I don't know, dumb pick or something. I don't know, like something witty that was like funny and
You really brought the creativity with that one.
You could make fun of
Yeah.
Griffin's appearance.
Oh yeah. Hey, you bird bitch.
Oh, that one hurts though. That does.
I mean, bobsledding's better because you're with your boys or girls. Like, what's up?
You're with your bobs.
Wait,
I
is
think
it
that is one
still
of the reasons
luge?
why you like bobsledding better though. Like if that had been one of your reasons, I'd have been like, oh yeah, you bobsledding with the homies, but you didn't say that.
What's isn't luge can be 2 people too, right? Or is that a different name?
Oh, no, they have a. Isn't that just a 2-man bobsled? They have a
I think
2-man
that's
bobsled.
I don't know.
I think that's just 2-man bobs. I think that's still called bobsledding though.
So it's like if you only have one friend.
I think yeah. So somebody on this pod is not invited. Or get another friend and then we got a full bobsled.
It's just
You don't want a bobsled.
I will say about all 3 of the sports, bobsled, luge, and skeleton, it's like they took something as innocent and as joyous as kids sledding down a hill in winter and basically made it lethal.
Hey, let's take this and fuck it up.
People.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that we all landed on basically the same sport for our number 5, and we all had reasons why we didn't pick the other one. Didn't expect that to happen. Regardless, on to my number 4 pick.
I did. We're pretty much all the same person, just slight variances.
Yeah.
We've got the tall, dark, handsome one. We've got the Jew one,
and then we have Griffin.
We didn't make the same. Wait, which one is the tall, dark, and handsome one if it's not Griffin? Oh, okay. What? Andrew's the Jew one.
Hey, you said it. I didn't.
Yeah, and again, for anybody listening at home who wants to be offended, big Jew. Okay, so settle down.
And everyone else at home, I am tall, dark, and handsome. So
I really hope more people listen to the audio version of this week. Number 4 on my list. Again, keeping it a little bit more specific. Floor gymnastics. Not just gymnastics. None of that pummel shit. None of that ring shit. Floor gymnastics. I want you to do an entire fucking routine. I want there to be dance incorporated in it. And I want you to do some straight up fictional things with like no assistance whatsoever while you're crossing a distance.
That floor is definitely bouncy.
Yeah, floor is definitely bouncy.
Yeah,
There's some bounce.
But
So
you're not
I feel like
thing or
like it's cool that you picked an event, but like you didn't have to shit on all the other ones.
Yeah,
I think I did.
You could have
gymnastics because the other ones suck.
Yeah, you could have had better odds if you just said gymnastics. You didn't have to get this specific. You could, but
I wanted to get specific,
wait, are you saying
gymnastics? I would rather watch floor gymnastics than anything else.
Are you saying just women's floor routine? Because you said like dancey, and I feel like the guys are not very dancey on the floor.
There's an element of choreography to it, but it's not. I did put women's floor gymnastics. I didn't know if we were being that specific.
No.
I would just say floor gymnastics.
I mean,
but I do probably end up watching the women's a lot more than the men's, just because the women going into the Olympics tend to be the more acclaimed, like ones where it's like must see TV. You know ahead of time, like Simone Biles is going to be doing something. That's the one you want to watch.
Man, she crazy good.
She crazy.
She crazy. No, crazy good.
Yeah.
Anyway, gymnastics was my number 5, and then I wanted it on my list, but I feel like my enjoyment of watching it, I think more comes from like the buildup of it. Like, and obviously it's crazy impressive and it's all super cool. So like I can't really hate on the pick.
Yeah, no, like I said, if I was a little bit more serious with things that I actually like to watch, this probably would have been my number 1. Not floor specifically, but just artistic gymnastics.
What would you have picked if not floor?
Well, no, I mean I wouldn't have specified, but if I
had, but if you had to,
if I had to pick one discipline, it might be like for women, it might be the uneven bars.
No, yeah.
That
Yeah,
shit scares
it's
me.
wild.
That
It-
that
it-
is
it,
like pole
makes my
vaulting.
stomach or my chest going, my heart going to my stomach. It
As
makes me.
it is like pole vaulting, where I'm like just waiting for it to go wrong. Like I don't want to be waiting for it to go badly, but I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
my brain can compute what's happening.
And like
Yeah.
similarly for the men, it would just be the what's it called, the horizontal bar, the single bar that they do basically the same thing on. So
Also,
yeah,
yeah.
See, I think I'd either go floor or like balance, like the beam, because
Yeah.
I just can't comprehend how they do things on that.
yeah.
I was shit talking rings a little bit earlier. Like, it's not my favorite to watch, but the shit they do on the rings is also just like stupid impressive because I
Pretty much
can't.
just the shit they do in general. Really impressive.
Like it's just like things that like I couldn't even do like the most basic version of even just like supporting myself on them.
Yeah.
And then they're doing like highly athletic superhuman feats on it.
And Vince Vaughn
really,
did it while smoking a cigarette.
gymnastics, more than a lot of other stuff, really drives home that like Olympians and the rest of the population were like a different species.
Yeah.
It's
For
no
sure.
wonder that they pass out condoms on Olympic Hill because they're just all just perfect people all together.
Especially the
Also,
curlers,
Yeah, you've got yeah,
the plungers.
and you've basically got like every big name NBA player there too.
Yeah, honestly, they shouldn't pass out condoms because those are the type of people you want to
Those are who you
reproduce.
want breeding. You
Yeah.
want them.
I think people have made the suggestion and they keep being like, no, STDs, and it's like it's a risk you got to be willing to take.
Risk it for the biscuit, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
This got off track. So floor routine, huh?
Yeah, floor gymnastics, man, they're crazy. Number 3 on my list. I didn't want to be boring and just say swimming, but we all knew swimming was going to be on my list. So I said, and again, I maybe made it too specific for myself, but I said the men's 4x100 medley because it's the event that incorporates the most different strokes. Swimming, people give it a lot of shit like every year, where it's like you can win so many medals if you're a really good swimmer, despite doing like variations of basically the same thing. Like you have multiple freestyle events you can participate in. You have multiple fly events that you can participate in. You can also do the relays. You can also do the medley. But the 4x100 medley is like the perfect combination of both an individual sport and a team sport, and it gives you basically every look as it relates to what strokes they're doing in the Olympics. And so if you were like gonna show somebody Olympic swimming for the first time, I feel like the medley is the best one to show. And you have just absolutely massive moments where you'll have like 3 or 4 guys all in the relay, all break new world records and have like come from behind victories and shit like that, where like if one guy's having a down race, probably not going to happen for him. Also helps that the U.S. we're pretty good at this event. We do, and I like
not
watching.
to brag.
The only time that I'm super patriotic is the Olympics.
Not to brag, Andrew and I were part of a half of a pretty damn good relay team.
Oh, yeah.
So
Andrew, you were the breaststroker?
Yep. Yeah. All I could swim was breaststroke. I mean, I didn't drown in the other strokes, but that was about all I could say. But breaststroke, I was good.
Thomas Reed freestyle?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Fly, baby.
You were fly? You're like 3 feet tall.
Much like Andrew, the only thing I was good at was butterfly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that you would have been a butterflyer. Okay. All right.
I was actually like pretty damn good for.
We have to turn the clock back a little bit this summer. Next time we see each other, we gotta get in an ocean and just get after it.
So we were the middle legs. We were the middle legs of the medley relay.
Yeah.
What did you swim mostly fly, Griffin, or freestyle and fly?
Fly and free.
Yeah.
And now
I legitimately could not swim anything else.
Yeah. No, my body is just a wasteland now. And honestly, I was never even that good. I just fell apart exceptionally quickly.
Well, you know what's crazy to me is like, you say that, and I feel that like our bodies are pretty beat, but like, why? And like, there's people who like actually played athletics for longer than us, who like, their bodies just got to be destroyed.
Well, I mean, that's part of, outside of just like more natural talent and more dedication and things like that, part of being a top athlete is being able to stay healthy. And I never could at
Yeah, I
all.
drink too
I
much.
fell apart so quickly.
Anyway, I don't think you're really hurting yourself with a pick like a specific pick in gymnastics because it's not on any of our lists. But since I do have swimming on my list, this was a dumb pick by you.
Yeah, but I couldn't take it back because it's already in my notes. So I wasn't going to be like, oh no, I'm just going to like not read most of these words.
Yeah.
Notes are
Yeah, I mean
notes are my thing.
it's a good pick. I again don't see the need for you to go that specific with it, but if it hurts you,
But I've
then
done
that's
it
fine.
and I've been consistent with it and I'm going to do it all the way through. So let's settle down. Number 2 on my list. Sticking to the actually I said earlier that I didn't want to specify gender. This one's going to specify gender, so I regret
You
that.
specified
You're
gender
all
on the
over the
last one,
place.
too. You said
You're all over the
men's.
place.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. I did say that. What am I?
I'm being honest. I didn't realize that was a wall you could put your hand on.
This
Till
is
right
a wall.
now.
Yeah, this is a wall that I'm grabbing next to me. I'm just, you guys throw me for a loop. Number 2 on my list is women's beach volleyball. And
Oh fuck! Good pick.
thank you.
Fuck.
Here's why, if Julia can hear me from the other room, she may be irritated with me. The other day we were talking about beach volleyball, and I was like, yeah, I think watching beach volleyball is stupid. Like, I don't understand why people in Hermosa are so into it because it's just like, oh, I put the ball up and then I hit it back and forth and like, whatever. Olympic women's beach volleyball, not true. They're gunners, okay? They get after it. They're amazing. They do stupid athletic shit. They're insanely talented. Most of them are gorgeous. Everyone watching gets super into it. Like, it's one of the crowd events that people get like the most into, which for the Olympics you don't have for a lot of the events. So the fact that like people can get into it and you can actually hear like the crowd going crazy, super dope. And it's just like way more fun than I would think volleyball is otherwise. It's the only time that I want to watch volleyball, despite living in like the volleyball capital of the country.
So I disagree with that fact. Like, I actually enjoy watching volleyball. Like, I don't pay attention. I don't follow volleyball, but I do enjoy watching volleyball. I am upset that I did not think about this and put it on my list. Men's beach volleyball also awesome, but yeah, women's beach volleyball because like, yeah, they're good looking.
Honestly,
it's a fun sport.
It's more reserved too. Like they'll do like a little like fist pump. Like, I don't know if it's
the women get like.
But women get fucking rowdy.
Yeah, I'm legitimately upset. I did not think about this because I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree with everything Thomas said. Like, I kind of disagree with you, Griffin. Like, I think regular volleyball is a pretty fun sport to watch every once in a while. But when you take 4 players from each team out of the equation and there's only 2 and you play on the beach, it's even better. And I will, this is the first pick I've heard tonight, including my own, that I thought was a good pick.
Okay. All right. Well,
every podcast at some point, Andrew, like, just there's a switch and Andrew's just like, yeah, my list sucks. But the last last hour has been him saying how good
I'm as dejected as you were that like weeks ago when you hadn't won, and
yeah, it's bad when Andrew goes first because we get to spend the next 45 minutes just shitting on him, just like circling back to how much we hate him.
But again, he talks like about how good his list is, and then there's just a switch where he's like, I don't even like my list. And you're right, I have been there almost every other week, so I get it.
Again, my list is very good for the memeability criteria, not much else.
Yeah. I just believe in myself all the way through, even though like objectively my lists aren't the best. On to number 1 though, and this one may irritate some people, including potentially you guys, because a lot of people are always like, this should not be in the Olympics, and the iteration that it is, this should not be the way they do it. My number 1 pick is 5v5 men's basketball. I understand why people don't want it in the Olympics in the way that it is now, because it's filled with like, it's essentially just NBA players playing for their home country at this point. So there's nothing amateur about it. But that's exactly why it's number 1 on my list. It is literally the best basketball players on earth, both from the NBA and from like different Euro leagues and the Israeli league and Australian league.
From the NBA.
Yeah.
You said the best basketball players.
Some of them, there's people in the Euro league that are worthwhile. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. The vast majority of them from the NBA playing for their home countries, playing with players that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. And both for the US and for other teams, like you get to see like the Gasol brothers play together back when they were in their prime. Or you got to see like the 2008 Redeem team, which was prior to the Miami Heat team up of Wade and Bosh and LeBron. But you got to also see them play with Jason Kidd and Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant. Like you just see, especially as it relates to the U.S. team, the greatest all-star teams that you can absolutely assemble, but they're actively trying to win the game the entire time. It's not all-star
So it's
throwing lobs, shooting threes. They're trying to beat these teams into the dirt.
it's an all-star. It's all-star week every game except they're trying.
Yeah, it's what the all-star. It's what everyone wants the all-star
Wants
game
the all-star to be. That's
have.
right. That's what I
Have
was gonna
times
say
where
too.
they like flip the switch, and they'll go from like a semi-competitive game to like 6 or 7 back-to-back possessions where the most athletic people on earth get a stop on one end and just crush the team on the other end. And like the pace is a little bit different and it's very superstar focused and they definitely don't play like as much team ball and all that. So I get why people don't love watching it as much. But for a couple weeks, it's the fucking shit and I love watching it. And
So I'm sorry.
yeah, it's I obviously I'm a big basketball guy, but I love it in the Olympics.
I was gonna say, like, I'm definitely not as big a basketball guy as you are, but like, sorry, I've never got into Olympic basketball. Like, I get it. Everything you said makes sense, and if I was more into basketball, I'd be there for it. Like, I watch basketball, but I just don't get to this. And like, part of it is when I think the Olympics, it's like Andrew said earlier, it's the sports that people care about once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So to me, basketball, it's like I see it every year, and I understand it's not the same because it's these countries teams. Like you said, it's all-star teams every week, but I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
because
Griffin,
I'm, smart.
Yeah, Griffin, you made some decent points. You defended it about the only way that I will give you that much, but I'll also say I get nothing out of Olympic basketball that I don't get better out of from the NBA. And yes, like you do occasionally get to see these super teams with like cool combinations of players, but usually when that happens, they're just dominating the competition to the point that it's not even a game after one quarter. And I I don't know. I just like yeah, like basically what Thomas said. Like when I think Olympic sports, I tend to watch and enjoy watching the sports that I don't watch every single year for those 2 weeks.
But you don't watch the 5 you pick because that's not your criteria.
I watch them when they're on TV. They're just not my favorite to watch.
I mean, if they ever made the change for basketball where it was like it can only be amateur players and it was literally the best 15 college or amateur players that they had to put a team together with, so it'd be like a bunch of like 21-year-olds instead of guys that like 27, 28 in their primes, it would still I don't think it would be a domination considering how good a lot of the European teams have gotten at this point.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a ton of fun to watch. It might be more fun to watch, but it would be less of a just display of dominance.
Like I say, I like interested. You made good arguments, and I get it. I don't. I know it's in the Olympics. I just don't think of it as in like when I think Olympic sports, it's the sports that are not on
Right.
every year.
So to me, like here, when I think of like 100 greatest basketball plays that I can think of, I can't think of 100, but like let's say in my head there was a montage, there would be maybe one from an Olympics and 99 from the NBA. Whereas
I
like
feel
with
like that's a bad.
whereas with
probably at least 2.
okay, well whereas with swimming, like
Twice as many.
whereas with a sport like swimming, almost every like great swimming race I can think of is from the Olympics.
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
Or
makes
Flower
sense.
Hill.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
of course.
and that's like the division between like what's essentially an Olympics only sport. Like, I mean, obviously they have competitions the rest of the time, but like who's really watching them that isn't involved in those sports, and like sports that are in the Olympics. In this case, yeah, basketball definitely. And if somebody had picked hockey or soccer or golf or any number of things like that, like those are sports that are in the Olympics. They're not as much Olympic sports.
That being said, I still think you
that's-
might win because I think people will look at the results of our list and be like, "Oh, I like watching basketball. I'm going to vote for Griffin."
Yeah.
Fuck off, idiots.
Why do they always sound like Valley Bros? We have like no Valley Bro friends.
Well,
Griffin,
they act
can
like
you give
it.
your recap so I can give my recap of your guys' lists?
Yeah. Number 5, luge. Number 4, floor gymnastics. Number 3, swimming, specifically the men's 4x100 medley. Number 2, women's beach volleyball. And number 1, 5v5 basketball. And I do need to say 5v5 because I'm pretty sure as of the last Olympics or as of this one, they added 3v3 as well.
Mhm.
I think it's this one it starts.
Right.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Anyway, so quick recap for everyone. Griffin, you had one good pick of your 5, which was women's beach volleyball. Andrew, you had one good pick of your 5, but it hasn't even happened in the Olympics yet, and that is sport climbing. And I had 5 solid picks.
Okay.
So
We cut the
thanks for
recording
listening.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, as always, we've come to the conclusion at the end of this
that I
none of us
won.
each other's list. No, it's never a conclusion we come to. Shut up.
Any quick honorable mentions before we sign off?
Well, I did have
Table tennis.
Table tennis was an honorable mention of mine. I had biathlon for the Winter Olympics because it's like shooting and cross country skiing, random, and rhythmic gymnastics, which is the one that's never on TV, but it's basically just like baton twirling and random things like that.
Yeah, I also had curling on there, but I think I like the idea of curling more than I actually like curling, so there was no way it was actually going to make my top 5.
That's how I feel about relationships.
In general, like with every person that you've ever had a relationship with?
Yeah, like just like not even romantic, just like all relationships.
We had a really good pod of you not worrying me at all. And we're gonna end on that, and I'm gonna have to first. I gotta text you what water sports are, and then I'm gonna ask you how you're doing.
Like I have guesses. Like I didn't want you to text me, but now I do because I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna look it up because I don't want that in my search history.
Safe search on if you're gonna. All right. Well, another episode in the books. As always, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any other audio platforms, make sure you hit it with a follow. Make sure you review and rate us. Share with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you make sure you comment what Olympic sports you like, or who had the best list, or how dumb Andrew is. Really, whatever you want. And subscribe. And again, share it with your friends. We will be back in a week or 2. Who knows?
Thomas looks possessed.
Thomas, I don't know I think he didn't freeze. I think he's just doing a thing so he wants us to think that he froze. But honestly, he hasn't moved at all, so I'm not sure.
This is terrifying.
Honestly, he may have froze.
No, I don't think so.
I can't tell. Regardless, thanks for tuning in for another episode. Share with your people. List Night Podcast. See you guys next week.